Hi, everybody. This is Joe.
And this is Lisa.
And welcome to your cheap date for August 26th, 2006. That's Cheap Date, the show that asks the question,
how many planets are there?
Well, depends on who's counting. My very educated mother served us.
Oh, you forgot the biggest planet.
Just served us 9 pizzas. Not anymore, though.
So now it's going to be my very educated mother just served us.
Well, no, there's other things in
Nosh.
there now. Served us a nosh.
No, there are only 8 planets now. That's the story, pal.
That's officially it?
That is it.
So
the council voted.
They decommissioned Pluto. Pluto's just an ice ball out there? Is that what they're saying?
It's a dwarf planet.
Oh.
Pluto
is it a red dwarf?
Charon and Xena.
Is it Charon?
I don't know.
It's a Yiddish planet. I'm going out to Charon for crying out loud.
Challah bread.
That's right.
That's
or Vilda Chaya, the word you learned this week.
Vilda Chaya. Wait.
Stop acting like a
Vilda Chaya.
There you go. Very good.
You have to kind of throw your hands up and in despair.
My daughters taught Lisa Yiddish this week. See, that education is serving them well.
I think it's wonderful to live in a multicultural society.
Yay. So anyway, tonight, welcome everybody to tonight's show. We appreciate
I never thought I would
in.
live to see the day that the model of the solar system I made in 2nd grade became out of date.
It was rendered obsolete.
I just cut off the end. It was on cardboard. It was before there were computers and all that. Those flipping PowerPoint science projects.
You just take your little rounded edge scissors and just go. And then 3 days later, little Lisa would have little blisters on her fingers.
Aw.
I've got blisters on my fingers.
Yeah, I think we unfolded a refrigerator box.
Aww.
To use. I'll have to show you that thing sometime. It's impressive.
You still have it?
Heck yes. Unless it got moldy and my mom threw it away. Joe,
I'm
do my
impressed.
parents throw away anything?
No,
anything?
No, not a single thing. Absolutely not. Not a single piece of
And
anything.
since you don't have to live with it, you can just go visit and look and then go home. Isn't it precious?
Totally precious. It twists,
Well,
it pulls at my heartstrings.
Oh, no, you
it
don't just have to
twists at
say
my-
that, but really, you can get a very thorough picture of who I was as a 7-year-old.
That's true.
And what more could a man want?
It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
No,
And
what's
my
creepy is the
girlfriend
fact that
uses-
you were 30 then.
Oh. Tonight's show is fueled by... I kind of like this little trip about who we're fueled by. Mm-hmm. We have a Fusée 2003 California Merlot, which is quite delightful.
It is.
And for those of you who saw the movie Sideways, yes, we're drinking Merlot. Tough. And in tie-in to what we opened the show with, Lisa's going to tell you what it says on the back of the bottle.
I have to read. We bring you Fusée in homage to the era of glamorous space travel, zinging cars that fold into suitcases, silver jumpsuits with wings, and tasty suppers that materialize at the touch of a button. Fusée is an ultra-modern convenience with futuristic style. Enjoy.
Okay.
And what they mean by ultra-modern convenience is it's a twist-off.
Oh, that's right. It is a twist-off.
It's seriously like a $14 twist-off. Oh, fusée, the French translation for rocket.
There you have
an
it.
An ignitable cylindrical projectile. Oh, and there's a little rocket ship on the... We have to put that...
Oh, yeah, the little logo. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, the accent on the E is a... on the first E is a little rocket ship.
The accent grave.
Or is that an accent aigu? Yes, it is an accent aigu.
Beautiful.
Mais oui.
And some of our listeners will be very glad to know we're not drinking it straight out of the bottle this time.
Yes, we have
We're
real,
using
actual
glasses.
red wine glasses that we're using.
Typically, we drink beer directly from the bottle,
Hey, beer's beer.
but you can't do that with wine.
So that's the story there. What else did we want to talk about? Oh, we wanted to talk about my participation in the National Geographic's the Genographic project.
And what can you tell us about the Genographic project?
Well, here's the thing. The purpose of the Genographic project is that they are trying to trace back, they being the scientists running running this thing.
They being those who are not us.
I don't know, they're people with lab coats somewhere. Yeah, it's Dr. Spencer Wells is the guy's name.
Oh, Dr. Wells.
Yeah, Dr. Wells. He's what he's doing is he's collecting DNA from people because the belief is that all human life, the race of human, correct me if I'm wrong, because if you don't, our listeners will. The human race as we know it now was actually tens of thousands of years ago almost extinct. And it was based in Africa, and then a select few left Africa and migrated all around, first along the coast through India and ultimately down to Australia, and then other paths followed up various ways throughout the world. And in the Y chromosome, there is a specific type of change in the DNA attached with the Y chromosome that this Dr. Wells is trying to track, and he can tell you where your ancestors were tens of thousands of years ago.
Right. He can tell you if your ancestors came through Asia over to the United States, through Alaska, or if they came up into Europe and then presumably came over by boat at some time. Now,
no, actually, if you look at the map, it didn't show anybody going from Europe, basically following the path that the Pilgrim's path.
Right, because
Everyone
that happened
went,
so much later.
Right, everybody went the other way around the world.
And those are the Native Americans.
Right.
So what you're going to find out is that you started I mean, it's not a big secret, but what you're going to find out is that you started in Africa. Your people probably went more or less up to Europe. I mean, all the other stuff in there between, too.
Possibly.
And then hung out in Europe for a long, long, long time. As opposed to going up through Asia. The important thing is, I don't think you'll find out anything earth-shattering.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
I could have some Aboriginal blood in me somewhere.
You could. You might have an ancestor, and it would only have to be a few generations back for you not to know about it. You might have a Native American ancestor. There's no telling. I think the important thing about this is, I saw a statistical analysis one time. They can trace every human living today back to a single female ancestor.
Nicknamed
Eve. What else? And presumably there was an Adam. Which sounds really earth-shattering, but isn't necessarily. I mean, any one individual, either their lineage is going to be successful and expand hugely, or basically die off.
Right.
Now, I can't explain this to you in specific terms, but, I mean, basically, necessarily, we all go back to one. I mean, I think any species would go back to one individual.
Right.
It's just really interesting that with humans, they're gathering enough information to trace that.
Right.
And I think to tell us a lot of interesting things about race.
Right. And the way that various traits developed, for example, when some people migrated to Asia, how the physical traits they had there developed versus the people who traveled to the Middle East versus the people who traveled all over.
And you can kind of see they used to have to do it based on physical traits. You can kind of see a resemblance between Native Americans and Asians. And that's because, there are also linguistic and DNA commonalities.
The whole thing. So the purpose of this project is that they're collecting DNA from people.
From anybody? Can just
from
anybody?
Anybody. We'll put a link on the show notes.
Bulletin.
Anyone can participate in this. We'll put the link in the show notes, and there's a website describing the entire project and how they're tracking this and what they're going to be doing.
Is it free?
No, it's not. It's $100. It's $100 for the kit, but it goes to the National Geographic Society. It goes to pay for the cost of the DNA analysis and the other things associated with this.
And then what do you get back?
You get a kit. Well, first of all, it doesn't identify you, because my first question was, all right, are they going to try and link me up to like the OJ murder or something like that?
Throw you right into the FBI file.
My fingerprints are already on file with a couple of government agencies because...
Well, there you go.
Because of the fact that I work in the securities industry. So my fingerprints are ever since, the late 80s, and we had some people misbehaving in the investment community back then. Imagine that. They went around and fingerprinted everybody. But what you get, but wait, there's more. What you get is you get a kit and then a number, which is your official reference number from henceforth. And then what you do is...
the mark of the beast, man.
I think so. You do a sample. You scrape the inside of your cheek. You send them two samples of the scrapings of the inside of your cheek. I won't get overly graphic, but it's a very, very simple and very non-gross process.
But don't do it at the table. Really.
It looks like you're brushing your teeth, actually, until it's like, dude, what are you doing?
And then you pull it out and look at it, stick it back in there.
In any event... What you do is then you stick it in an envelope, they take it, they run through some analysis on it, and then you go to a website a few weeks later and you can take a look, and they'll tell you what they have found about your DNA. Mm-hmm. They don't link it to your name personally. They don't link up your ID number with them to anything other than this particular sample that they got.
Right, and they're using it only for anthropological and genetic purposes.
Right, and they swear up and down they're not using it for anything else. So.
And I believe it. I think for $100, it's a fascinating thing to participate in, and the least you can do to contribute to science. I think this is they're not curing cancer or anything, but that's not to say it's not important. I think it's extremely important. And if you, I think it's an honor to be able to participate in this.
Yeah, so it's very cool. So I'm doing it, and I'm following up, since I possess the Y chromosome, I'm following that one up my paternal side, and my sister is going to do it, and she's following it up my mother's side. Our mother's side.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
So it should take you back to an ultimate female? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have a report later on and let you guys know how it's going. But anyway, little interesting tidbit. We'll post Joe's DNA for anyone who's interested.
Oh, great. Not that'll open it up to anything.
If you want to try to clone him.
Joe, party of two, your table is ready. Joe, party of two. Oh, it's those two again. Man, I hope they're feeling especially generous tonight. I mean, would it kill them to surreptitiously pass me a $5 or $10 bill once in a while?
I got a roll of nickels with your name on it, pal.
Well, they need the money now.
One for every refill you bring me.
I guess they could use the money now since they've retired from their highly lucrative, well-paying podcasting career. That, of course, was Karen, formerly of... She and her husband,
the
Ross...
The artist formerly known as Zed, presumably.
She is, absolutely. So, where are we today, darling?
I don't know. You have the thing.
Oh, we're at Sopraffina.
Joe doesn't show me the menu. He orders for me.
That's right. The lady will have the low-fat Caesar salad. Then I get...
What is that supposed to mean?
I get whacked over the head with a pepper mill. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Sopraffina is called a market cafe. They have a few locations in downtown Chicago. How would you describe this being your first time there?
All right. We had the privilege to be spending a day off on some personal business in downtown Chicago.
I happen to work in downtown Chicago, so of course the main place I want to be on my day off is downtown Chicago.
Well, it was fun, nice, wasn't it? It was a nice day. It was a little warmer than I would have liked. But it was really a beautiful day. And we were down there on a weekday, so we got right in the business lunch crowd, which scares me, but which you navigate quite well. Now, the suburbs don't offer things like this. But downtown, there are a lot of office buildings with restaurants in the ground or first floors that are open to the general public, but that you might not know about if you weren't there. And this particular one served really great. I'm not sure if I would call it... Well, I'm not sure how I would describe the food, but I'll get to that. Really great food, but kind of in a cafeteria style. Where you get a tray, you go around. I went and got soup. They had a little salad area, a pizza area, a pasta area.
Sandwiches.
So you don't... It's not a cafeteria like you start at one end and you go down. It's more of a free form, like you can walk to whatever area.
There's stations.
Stations, right. There you go. And to go to a station-style restaurant and get food like this, you would never, ever be able to do in the suburbs. What they had was Italian lunch fare. Soups, salads, pizza, little single-serving pizzas, and some pasta selections, sandwiches, and then some little desserts and drinks. I had the vegetarian minestrone, which was good, but I like minestrone to be pretty chock full of pasta and beans and stuff. This one had vegetables that I have never had in minestrone. It had squash, which was wonderful. Squash did but it had no pasta or beans.
Right.
So it was a very vegetable-y minestrone. But that was probably good because then I opted to get half of a pizza, which was which had tomato, spinach, and mushroom with basil pesto, red onion, fontina, and Parmesan cheese. And they have a whole wheat crust.
Right.
This thing was amazing. I wouldn't have even guessed the crust was whole wheat. It was thin, but it was tender and flaky, with fresh chopped tomatoes, a little bit of spinach, mushrooms. I just read the ingredients. But the magic of this pizza was that because they used really good cheese, they had to use only a sprinkle. I want to try to make this at home.
Okay.
Because they used really good cheese, they only had to use a sprinkle, and you ended up with a really healthy pizza.
That's true.
Chock full of vegetables with all the cheese flavor you need without all the grease.
That's true.
And the crust was outstanding. It wasn't crispy. But it was very thin. So you didn't get a lot of dough. You got some protein, some veggies, just what you need.
I had the pepperoni with 3 cheese pizza. Speaking of cheese.
Speaking of cheese. Yours was a little bit cheese heavier.
Fontina, provolone, and Parmesan. But again, these were quality cheeses. I mean, the Parmesan, you can have a Parmesan that's either really, really weak or way overpowering. And this was, it was a very powerful Parmesan, and they put exactly the right amount on there, which is really good.
Be careful with Parmesan.
And the pepperoni was very good. It was sliced a little bit thicker than what you would get on your...
These cute little, nickel-sized pepperonis.
And they did, and it was wonderful. I've also had the margarita pizza there as well, which is really, really good.
That was the other one I had my eye on.
So, as we said, it's a great place to go for lunch. You don't even bus your tables there. They have guys who come around and do it. The other thing is that it's a really cozy place. All of the locations are like this. They have some tables which are... The tables are all set up. They're little skinny tables for 2, but they have them squished together sometimes in configurations of 4 and 6 people. So a lot of times when you go there, especially during the big lunch rush, sometimes you'll be sitting literally right next to someone you don't know who's sitting across from someone that they're dining with. So if you're a social person, you have a tendency you can meet people there as well, which is kind of neat.
I would probably get it to go more if I were there when it were that busy.
Really?
I like to spend my lunch in solitude. I really do. No, it's who I am.
They also have all kinds of panini sandwiches, portobello mushroom, fresh mozzarella. The mozzarella is the fresh mozzarella. It's the stuff that just basically melts when you put it in there. Chicken breast, roast beef, turkey. All the stuff is all wonderful. And then for dessert, they have various cookies, brownies, dessert bars, and this lemon tea cake, which is wonderful. So
I was so impressed. Now, we both got water, We each had half.
It was
pizza,
delicious
and I
water,
had-
City of Chicago water. Man, oh man.
Oh, stop! But we didn't have drinks. But we each had half of a little pizza, and I had soup, and we got out of there for what, $12?
Mm-hmm. Truly a cheap date. A wonderful cheap date.
Well, lunch.
Well, yeah. So there you go.
But we followed it up with dessert.
That's right. Well, first,
Are we
before
ready to move on to that?
no, we're not. Before we leave Sopraffina, we were at the location which is in the AT&T/USG building, which is at 222 West Adams Street in Chicago. They also have locations at 200 East Randolph, 111 East Wacker, 175 West Jackson, which is right next door to the Board of Trade building, and 10 North Dearborn.
I thought it was West Monroe, not Adams.
The actual address of the building is West
Because it's one of those, like,
West Adams. It's on.
two buildings.
That's
close
the
together.
right. That's the south side of the building. The north side of the building is on. We walked in through the Monroe side.
Dude, I would have been so lost without you. I would have been on the 33rd floor of some other building.
So after that, we walked up the street a little bit to have dessert.
Not immediately after that, but
Well, we had some
later
business
on.
to attend to, and after the business, we decided to treat ourselves to a little bit of dessert. Ladies and gentlemen, Cereality.
Do, 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 do. I feel like there should be some sort of jingle for this.
Doom, doom.
You're just looking at me like I should. I feel like there should be like a Lucky Charms type. Well, let's. You know what?
Tell us what
Enough of
Cereality
my
is.
Nonsense. What is Cereality, you ask? It is a cereal bar. That's right,
Yep.
a cereal bar. You go in, they make it for you, but it's kind of like Cold Stone, only they have a bunch of different cereals.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick a pre-mixed mixture, or you can invent your own
Mixture.
mixture. And they put it in this little Chinese-type carton with a very sturdy bottom, don't worry.
Photo on the weblog, by the way.
A nice sturdy bottom, and then they have a milk dispenser, kind of like kind of like a pop dispenser or like a milk dispenser they would have at a college dorm with skim 2% or whole milk. You milk it yourself. Well,
Mhm.
you milk the cereal, I mean. And you're good to go. What I had was called The Devil Made Me Do It. It was a mix of Cocoa Puffs, Lucky Charms, crushed malt balls, and chocolate syrup.
Yep.
And then I doused it with milk, and oh my gosh. There is just no excuse for that.
Talk about a major sugar buzz.
And what did you have?
I had the...
It's called the Get Up and Go, or
No. It's called the...
You Snooze, You Lose.
You snooze, you lose. This is
Golden Graham?
Golden Grams, Life cereal.
Captain Crunch, I thought?
I don't know. There might be Captain Crunch in there. I don't remember. Life cereal, crushed malted milk balls, I believe, and a shot of espresso.
Oh, and I think you got some chocolate syrup, too. didn't
And
you?
chocolate syrup. I couldn't see.
And
I
a-
like
and
sweet
a-
stuff.
And a dash of cinnamon,
Dash
too,
of cinnamon.
just
And
to
you know what?
kick it up.
I
a
like
notch.
sweet stuff, but there's no way I can eat that first thing in the morning. And, dude, there's a jolt with that.
Oh, it's a dessert, any way you look at it. Now, they have healthier options. You can get oatmeal with honey and bananas and granola, or oatmeal with different types of fruit. They have healthier options.
Mm-hmm.
We just went for the super indulgent cornflakes with vanilla sugar and cream.
Big fans, folks. Big fans.
But, man, if they have one of these anywhere in your greater metropolitan area,
There's one. There's the one in Chicago where we went. There's one in Tempe, Arizona, and there's
Okay.
one in Philadelphia. But that's it. But here, when you walk into this place, first of all, they have big screen TVs and they're playing cartoons.
3 o'clock on a Wednesday.
3 o'clock Wednesday
Cartoons.
afternoon. There you go. Then they have big giant bins all over the place, or actually not all over the place, but behind the counter. And it has all different cereals in there. Any kind of breakfast cereal you can imagine. Lucky Charms, Kix, Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, you name it,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
there. There's a big menu on the board where you can choose what you want. Their cold cereal concoctions, or their hot cereal concoctions, which is primarily cream of wheat, oatmeal, various different ways and whatnot. And then they mix it up for you right then and there. And then, as Lisa said, you can turn around and then you can
Or
splash
you
your own
can
milk
get
on
milk
it.
to go.
Or get milk to go. I've done this sometimes, and I've gotten it, and I've eaten this stuff on the train. And, dude, I'm buzzing on the train.
Yeah.
Okay, we there yet? We at our stop yet? Okay.
They also have, I think, coffee and smoothies.
Right.
And you can buy a packet of just the marshmallows from a Lucky Charms pack.
Exactly.
Like, as a snack. One last thing, I have to share a statistic with you. I know.
We can't get away without having a statistic from Lisa.
95% of Americans like cereal. 57% like sex. We've got cereal.
How can you argue with a marketing campaign like that?
How can you argue? You can't argue with math.
As we all learned.
You can't argue with the truth.
So Cereality is at 100 South Wacker Drive at Monroe, actually right on the Chicago River. We sat outside at a little table, and we were watching the Metro trains underneath Union Station.
Really, and now that we can say it's a Chicago thing, if you're ever in Chicago, you must try it.
All right, kitten.
Aww.
I think we've taken up enough of these nice people's time.
Boy, is there anything we haven't talked about tonight?
We talked about Italian
Wine,
stuff.
Planets,
We talked about
food, cereal,
DNA.
DNA.
Whoa. If people want to get a hold of us, Lisa, how would they do that?
dish@cheapdateshow.com.
Or is there another way, perhaps a more public way they could?
Well, anytime I
contact
hear
us?
somebody's email address and I want to find another way to contact them, I just take off the whatever at and instead type in www. So that would bring you to cheapdateshow.com, where you can check out links to things we talked about in the show, with or without the little magical noise, and leave comments for us and everyone else to read.
We also
Post
have
your DNA, whatever.
We also have a new feature, which is we have a listing right along the left-hand column on our website of all of the restaurants we've reviewed.
That was a great idea, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's something you remember hearing that you're interested in,
All you have to do is go down to pick the name of the restaurant, click it, it'll take you to that episode, and then you can either download the episode or you can listen to the episode right on the website.
excellent.
So we covered that, and we covered that. I think we've pretty much done our civic duty for this week.
I think we are done. Civic duty.
Thanks, everyone, for writing. Again, we love your guest reviews. We love your comments. We will have some of this stuff coming
tell us
up.
about the crazy places to eat in your area.
We will have some of this stuff coming up on future shows as well. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Good night.
This podcast is proudly listed at podcastpickle.com.